Imagine a day without computers. Difficult, isn't it? They are now an integral part of our lives. But have you ever wondered what makes them work? It's like a well-rehearsed orchestra with two main players, the hardware and the software. The hardware, akin to the musicians with their instruments, and the software, much like the musical score guiding the performance. Together, they create the symphony that is modern computing. So let's dive in to understand these two key components better. Think of a computer as a human body. Hardware is the physical aspect, the bones and muscles that you can see and touch. Now that's a vivid image, isn't it? But it's an apt comparison. Just as our bodies have different parts, each with a specific function, a computer system also has various hardware components, each playing a crucial role. Let's start with something familiar. The monitor. It's like the face of the computer, showing us what the computer is doing. We interact with it, much like how we interact with people by looking at their faces. Next up, the keyboard and the mouse. These are our primary tools to communicate with the computer. We give it commands, type out our thoughts, or navigate through different applications, much like our vocal cords and hands help us express ourselves. Then we have the printer. It brings digital content into the physical world. Think of it like our hands crafting and creating physical objects based on our brain's commands. But what about the brain? That's the central processing unit, or the CPU. It's where all the magic happens. The CPU processes information, runs programs, and basically makes sure everything works together smoothly. Now where do we store all our information? That's the hard disk's job. It's like our memory, storing everything from the operating system to our favorite cat videos. And we can't forget about the motherboard. It's like the nervous system, connecting all these components and ensuring they can communicate with each other efficiently. All these parts together form the hardware of a computer. Each one is tangible, you can touch them, feel them, and without them a computer would just be an empty shell. So we see that hardware forms the tangible part of a computer, but is that all? Definitely not. If hardware is the body of a computer, then software is its soul. It's the part you can't see or touch, but without it, the hardware is just a piece of metal. Now let's delve into the world of software. Imagine software as a set of instructions or commands that tells the hardware what to do. It's akin to a conductor leading an orchestra. The conductor doesn't play an instrument, but without his guidance, the orchestra would be in chaos. Similarly, software directs the hardware to perform specific tasks. A good example of software is the operating system. This is the big boss that manages all the hardware and other software on your computer. It's like the captain of a ship, steering all the components to work together harmoniously. Examples of operating systems include Windows, macOS, and Linux. Then we have application software. These are the programs that you use daily, like Microsoft Word for writing your essays, Google Chrome for browsing the internet, or Adobe Photoshop for editing your photos. They are like the crew members on the ship, each performing a specific task to ensure the voyage runs smoothly. And let's not forget games. They are also software. When you're playing Fortnite or Minecraft, you're interacting with complex software that controls everything from the graphics on your screen to the response when you press a button on your controller. In essence, software is the unseen force that brings your computer to life, transforming it from a dormant machine into a dynamic tool for creativity, productivity, and entertainment. It is the language that your hardware understands and responds to. But here's a critical question. Can hardware and software exist without each other? Well, without software, your hardware would be a lifeless shell, unable to perform any function. And without hardware, your software would be just lines of code with nowhere to go. So software breathes life into the hardware, but can one exist without the other? The answer is no. Just like a body can't function without a soul, a computer can't operate without either hardware or software. They work together in a delicate balance. Let's delve into this symbiotic relationship between hardware and software. To start, consider the hardware as the body of a computer. It houses all the physical elements, like the processor, memory, and storage devices. Without these, a computer would be nothing more than a hunk of metal and plastic. Now, let's bring in the software. Picture it as the soul of the computer. It's the invisible force that brings the hardware to life. It's the operating system, the applications, the games, everything that you interact with on a daily basis. But how do these two elements work together? Well, the software uses the hardware to perform tasks. When you click on an application, the software sends a signal to the hardware. The processor then crunches the numbers, the memory stores the data, and the monitor displays the results. In this way, hardware and software depend on each other. Without software, your hardware would be lifeless, unable to perform any tasks. Without hardware, your software would be a ghost, with no physical form to operate on. It's a beautiful dance of give and take, with each component relying on the other to create the seamless experience we know as computing. So, we see that both hardware and software are crucial for a computer to function effectively. To sum it up, hardware and software are the heart and soul of a computer. They work together to make our lives easier. We've peeled back the layers of these two fundamental elements of computing. Hardware, the tangible pieces like monitors, keyboards, and central processing units form the physical body of our computers. It's the stuff we can touch and see. On the other hand, software, composed of programs and applications, is the invisible force that brings the hardware to life. It's the breath that animates the body, so to speak. We've used clear examples and analogies to help you understand these concepts. Think of hardware as the stage and software as the actors performing on that stage. Without one, the other can't function. They're a dynamic duo, a perfect pair. So next time you use a computer, remember the complex interplay between hardware and software that makes it all possible.